Hi, everyone.
Hey.
Happy to share this live show with Sean on this topic that is quite on the spot for what is happening today in relation to the stars and all the planets in retrograde or the planetary alignments that will be following in the next year, because there won't be just only one, which is the most famous one on the 25th of January. There will be also another one in the 28th and the 18th, I'm sorry, and in August and so forth, following also in June. So anyway, of course, all of this is pointing out to something very specific, because we know that stars and planets, celestial bodies, including asteroids, are not only a part of this beautiful construction that we get to enjoy at night. It's also a fundamental influence that is constantly beaming to our own plasma and generating a specific effects depending in the level of awareness that we have on what is going on. Because then again, we live in an entangled universe and everything is interconnected. The more that we actually know how to master all those factors that are or could be influencing our reality, the more that we actually can choose what reality to create and to shape.
Great. And we're going deeper in than a lot of people usually do. And we'll be doing readings for people. So come on in and ask your questions and give us your contacts and message us if you want a free reading. And we'll go into whatever you want to go into, and we'll see how the stars have an effect over it. And we'll then talk about some deeper meanings of what this movement of the stars and the planets cause in our manifest. So yeah, come on in and enjoy, and let us know. So there are about 4 things in retrograde. Uranus from, like as you were saying, September 1st to January 30th, and Jupiter is in retrograde. So about 4 things in retrograde. Jupiter's in from October 9th to February 4th. Mars is from December 6th to February 23rd. And Chiron, July 26th to December 29th. And, there's different meanings for this that people tune into. My current meaning on it is it's a positive emission based on a opposite version of what the celestial body usually does. And so then we'll see what that means going deeper. And then, the different placements of the planets in certain houses will mean certain things. And we'll decode that for you. And there's some really cool things like the rare zodiac signs that most people don't talk about.
Yeah. So perhaps we want to first explain what is unified astrology and what is a psionic astrology. Well, what I try to convey through unified astrology, we have heard about the tropical astrology, the sidereal astrology, the galactic astrology, and then again, all these forms of perception of one reality that come to separate instead of unifying, because it's No, you're correct. No, you are. This is the accurate one. No, it's this, and so forth. So that's precisely when, instead of information enabling the process of finding ourselves within it, then we are getting lost within the information. So that's why it's so important for me to establish that each one of these astrologies, forms of approaching to astrology, the tropical one, the sidereal one, the galactic one, and perhaps many more to come, I don't know. It's just different scales of how to read and scan your holographic body. There was even the astrology, like the biological astrology, that connects like every constellation to each one of your organs. So there are many variants. All of them, when we unite them, then we're getting the full potential of all of them. So for instance, the tropical astrology, as how I remember it and how I perceive it and experience it, is mostly related to those factors that you need to transcend, whereas the sidereal astrology is more about encouraging you to embody that sign, the power and the benefits of that sign. And the galactic one is the one that connects most with that primordial matrix, where our holographic body is not attached to any of these constellations and yet embodies them all, including some zodiac signs, well, or constellations that were initially part of the zodiac, and then were casted away, like erasing the steps in order to accomplish that wholeness. Is like saying, hey guys, it's only two, and it's all that it comes to when it's related to astrology. As if we move forward, then we're capable to see that, for instance, in sidereal, which I'm quite sure that most of you have listened about, this sign of Fucus. Well, Ophiuchus is the serpent barrier, and if we don't take into consideration this sign, then we are not capable to fill in all the pieces of the puzzle that allows us to transcend onto the next stage. However, the 12 zodiac signs are embedded in all the 12 codes related to the 12 nodes, related to the 12 DNA strands, related to how time was embedded in a linear time, the 1260, like positive and not so positive, to say it somehow, aspects that if we don't integrate those 12, if we deny those 12 and say that that is not the accurate one, then we are denying ourselves all those numerical values, all those algorithms. Just imagine that your body is a hologram. Okay, so you're looking at Sean and me, and then if you get a scanner, then you will get to see, for instance, you could get to see our bones, our tissues, and so forth, if we go deeper into a biological level. However, if we go up to a quantum level, you would see that we have also a geometrical body, and we have therefore a holographic body. In that holographic body, imagine that every line is a circuit, and every circuit is connected to a very specific star. Moreover, even every Planck unit, like the fundamental unit, all the stars are contained there. However, there are and the universe and our genetic code, all the information of the universe resides in our DNA. However, when we want to connect with the specific epicenters in order to see what point in our body, in our physical body, in our holographic body connects with a specific stars, then when you tune into that holographic body, you will see that for every emission of light that we are pulsing as we breathe, that plasma that constitutes our multidimensional body, our physical body, our holographic body, geometrical, and so forth, is creating a relationship with the stars. And if we don't complete all that scheme, then we're not gaining the the fruits of what this interaction with the stars can represent within us. For instance, as I was saying, imagine that we have the 12 zodiac wheel, and then those are related to that unconscious aspect that we need to transcend. Even though that we have, like the sun, our sun in a specific sign, and the moon in another one, all those are parts of that wave that helps our holographic body to tune into the frequency of our unconscious mind. Now, if we connect with the sidereal, then we will see that those 13 activate a specific part in our holographic body, different to the 12. Ophiuchus, the serpent barrier, actually represents the mastery of the vital force within us. And what could we do if we don't know how to master our own energy? So if you erase that part of the zodiac sign, you are denying its existence from within our holographic body. Now, for instance, in relation to the galactic zodiac, when you connect with Cetus, for instance, thank you, James. If we see Cetus, Cetus is the whale, and the whale, when we acknowledge this constellation as part of our zodiac sign, which is the wheel, which is the motion, and even the same word, even it's written differently, the wheel, the capability to achieve something through the passion that our inner sun is capable to generate. So Cetus, the whale, brings to us our capabilities of sonolocation, of restoring our capability of having one same language. Why? Because we are going beyond the words. We're capable to communicate through our psionic skills. And that's something that Cetus, the whale, and for instance, the dolphins, are bringing to our genetic encoding through the plasma that they emanate to our blood, to to every particle of light that constitutes our physical body and our holographic body. So each one of these variants of the astrology, they are very powerful. And even I could go numerically speaking, but then again, it would be too, yeah, perhaps this is not the show for that. However, when we talk about also Orion, because Orion is also being included in the zodiac, within the zodiac signs lately. So you can say, yeah, but aren't the zodiac signs supposed to align at some point, or like be within the solar ecliptic? Well, yes. When it comes to Cetus and Ophiuchus, they are part, because even Cetus the whale was part of Pisces. And we will go a little bit deeper, what each one of these signs would represent. I'm just giving an intro, of so that you can tune into this unified form of approach to astrology and the benefits of this, of course. So then again, Orion, if we tune into it at an astronomical level, we will see that the melody that this constellation offers goes perfectly is perfectly embedded within the DNA. Imagine that our DNA is a symphony. Every codon, every gene, every chromosome is emitting a specific frequency. And also that frequency can be aligned to the stars. That's why we can be so influenced by them. So when it comes to that's that about the stars. Now, when it comes to the planets, um, of course, we are all orbiting the solar system, the sun, and every planet has a very specific frequency, a very specific geometry. So, for instance, we were talking about retrogrades. What happens there, it's like instead of flowing at, let's say, clockwise, they start to spin counterclockwise. This is not something bad. This is actually, when you're doing a very specific cleansing, in your body or in something else, you might be suggested to do it counterclockwise. Why? Because you are magnetizing the energy, removing the energy, and then projecting it somewhere else. So counterclockwise is mainly when the planets are going counterclockwise, it's mainly to purify, to remove, to magnetize energy. So when we know how to serve that, then we are not holding to our energy. We are offering the energy that we choose to transcend. So these are big opportunities of transformation, as we know. And depending, of course, on the celestial body, like an asteroid or a planet, and what consciousness it embodies. For instance, hi Susan, when we are talking about Venus, Venus is known also, and at least in the by the ancient Egyptian in the Dendera zodiac, there is some form of correlation as well to that crucial moment in evolution where we transcend the idea of beauty projected and imprinted by the artificial matrix to connect with the true nature of beauty, and that also leads to the the connection of other entities. Like, for instance, there are people that relate Venus to Lucifer in the zodiac sign. And then there, at least you can see that there are two faces, that there it's Venus and it has two faces, like the moon, which is showing the two sides of the coin, that it depends with which one we choose to connect. However, I do perceive and remember that we are not here again to choose sides, rejecting one of them. We are here to embody that singularity that brings all the information together and transforms it into a higher outcome and income, of course. So, do you want to say something?
Oh, you're doing great.
Thank you. Okay, well, thank you for all your comments. There is one question here. What is the most accurate astrology? Is it Hellenistic? Well, I can tell you, I'm not very related to the Hellenistic. What I can tell you, and for the field that I'm tuning into, because actually this is the first time that I hear about it. But what I can tune into by the frequency of the name, that it's mostly related to where the moment where all those constellations were entitled, were baptized with very specific names, and that actually removed the 88 constellations that were previously connected with the Sumerians, with the Egyptians, and then even with the Sufis, the Muslims, as a branching of all those forms of conceiving the star systems. And then when they reduced to 48 constellations, and then all these signs started to embody different mythos. So thank you for asking this, Wilson, because actually there is something very important related to the mythos of the stars, of the constellations, because I have been, for instance, posting about Orion. Orion, as far as I had known, it has always been a male figure. And when I started to dive into the Sufi astrology, I saw that they consider it as a woman, and that woman goes even beyond, like that connotation of Orion goes even before to the Nabateans, which are in Petra, in Jordan. So putting together, like whether if it's a woman, a Lusa, which is a goddess, and actually that this is how all these archetypes have been imprinted in the hologram, whether to free us or to suppress us by the high level of influence that these stars and these asters have in our holographic body. So that's why the more that we connect with that plasma, the more that we connect with the consciousness of those stars, the more that we are capable from this sovereign state to see what those stars have to offer to us. Because also, this is something very important. What they can offer to me, like there is like a general aspect that the stars are of how they are nourishing us. And there are also very unique ways of the stars to connect with us. For instance, we also have the Vedic astrology, and the Vedic astrology takes into consideration the Navagrahas, the 9 planetary expressions, because they are not all planets. They include also the sun and the moon, the lunar node and zenith, the lunar zenith and nadir. But where I'm getting with all of this is that, one, through the mythos embedded in every constellation, there was a high weight imprinted on how those stars are influencing our field. Not because it's good, not because it's bad, because there is already, like a seal containing the plasma and directing it within that very specific frame and being integrated unconsciously by us. For instance, because if you go through other astrologies, you will see that some signs, they are not even related. They have nothing to do with one another, And for instance, we also have a lot of constellations, very, 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 very important ones, that have been casted away through these 48 constellations that were reduced from the 88 that they were originally were. And one of them is Argo Navis. And Argo Navis is the arc of Osiris. So, what does the arc of Osiris represent? The arc of Osiris is quite connected to the motion going beyond death, and also with the genetic arc within our DNA, because it's the star seed, that interstellar imprint of our DNA in relation to our galactic lineage. Not all of them, of course, because we have from many, many races within our DNA, because there was not only one manipulation, there were many. I'm going to read, and because I am talking and talking, and I really want to know if there are other questions. James Whitaker says that he want, like, if no one is answered, like going in this adventure for us to do a reading, he's open to
Sure.
be that person. Okay, so James, do you want to give us your phone number so
Yeah,
that
you
we can call
send
you?
us a message on Facebook
Yeah, sure.
because he has me in there. Yeah. And yeah, so there's a lot of stuff we can talk about. We'll go into some esoteric with the Fucus and Cetus, as well as some decoding of what you can look for. Like, what do you do with this information? How does this empower you? A lot of ways. It's like a whole mystery school reflection. As above, so below of what you have internally. Okay, so I'll give some examples, and then we can tune into this more. So, and then like with specific things that people bring up about the stars, etc., we can tune into that specifically. So, like an example, let's say with the cycle of the zodiac that most people talk about, you're did you go into sidereal astrology being
Yeah,
a
I
little
barely
bit
touched it. I barely touched it. Like, generally was what the sidereal represents. So go for it.
going into Sanskrit, right, with ancient Hindu, and being a little bit more accurate, and there being mess. You talk you know this. Feel free.
Yeah, I also want to hear you. Yeah, we were. Now that you mentioned the Vedic astrology, for instance, imagine that each one leads you to something specific. For instance, the Vedic astrology leads you to connect with your power from your shadow aspect, to embrace that wave, to master that wave, to surf it, because it is very focused in the aspects that every most people neglect, or like try to hide. And it also takes a lot, or uses a lot, the frequency of the moon, you know so we know that the moon amplifies big time. So the frequency of the moon, all the Vedic system is quite based on the moon frequency, at least the Navagrahas and the nakshatras, which they're even the lunar stations. There are stars, there are constellations, but they take them as lunar stations because they have measured their cycles in relation to the moon. So that's a very brave way to approach to astrology, because then it's a very powerful way to master, the connection to this with the stars. I do suggest a lot, for instance, the nakshatras, which are the lunar stations, which, because then again, when we're talking about the egregor and the collective, how everyone gives its own imprint to a constellation, like, no, this means this and this means that, and and then all the power of the egregor, believing something and then manifesting it. So the core of the constellation is now full of all the information that every person has put on it, besides the specific encryption that was given to fulfill a role in this artificial matrix. Very related to the mythos. And I will explain a little bit why in a bit. Again, there's nothing bad with the mythos. It's not negative. However, they have been controlling very specific our way to relating unconsciously. So anyway, anyhow, um, if you want to look for the Navagrahas, these are very pure. Like the frequency of these star systems is very pure because it's barely known. So then when you connect with that frequency, with those configurations and those systems, then you're connecting with the power of the star. For instance, we have Shravana, that it's connected to the frequency of Vishnu, so then you're connecting with the power, with the protection. We are connecting with the divine masculine. and and so that's one example. On the other side, if you connect with Abhijit, then you're connecting with Lakshmi. If you're connecting with uh, let's say Revati, you're connecting with prosperity. If you're connecting with, would be an equivalent to Spica, for the fixed stars, because this is also very important, the fixed stars. Please, if you resonate with this information, look for them, because the ancient civilizations used the fixed stars to map their reality through their holographic body. How? Or their holofractal body. How? Imagine again holograms, and you're routing your body as an hologram, as a geometry, to the plasma of these stars, therefore connecting with the full richness that these stars have to offer to you. And they are beyond the common star systems, like the zodiac and so forth. They go beyond them. That's why they're mostly untouched. You're connecting with the pure information of that. And even you cannot believe, like, okay, Revati, as I was saying, prosperity. Okay, yeah, perhaps the frequency of Revati is not giving me only prosperity, it's also giving to me like abundance in wisdom and in joy and in creation, and and so forth. How can you connect with the stars? You can scan, like, just breathe, while first looking for fixed stars or navagraha, the nakshatras, and then like scan your body and ask which part of your body needs to connect with, for instance, one of the stars that you are feeling connected with, one of these fixed stars or navagrahas. And then when you feel like an electric shock or a pulsation or something, then you give the command and you configure and you move a lot of energy. You can, however, how to move your plasma body to enhance your energetic field. And then, for instance, there are specific days within the month that are more propitious to connect with those stars. And then you create this field, the connection with that star system, and feel in this continuous exchange of energy how all your plasma is being enhanced, with that information, and how it's breaching within your DNA the primordial records of the stars, and therefore readjusting them, restoring them to that galactic nature, to this galactic multidimensional nature. So, for instance, that's one example. What I was talking about, the mythos, he will tell you a lot of things. That's why he's so focused. Just in a bit. So, when, for instance, when you connect with the mythos, the Greek mythos, and you hear the story that they gave to Cetus, the whale, they call it the sea monster. The sea monster, this maleficent being that is just looking to eat people, like Andromeda. and they are connected. They are quite connected. So immediately, our encryption of rejecting the evilness casts that away, because the encryption within the human body was mostly done to create a judgmental aspect in order to relate to things. This is good, this is bad. That's it. Point. Instead of going deeper, but not outside, deeper within. So, for instance, if you now open your bridge to Cetus, then you will see it's not a monster that actually brings a lot of benefits to our DNA, as it is encrypted also within our DNA, you know? So, uh, and there is also a mastery on Cetus. As I was saying in the beginning of the video, this whale was at some point part of Pisces. And again, as I repeat, and I hope that this soon shifts, I really do, because even the tropical astrology, we celebrate in March Aries. It's not the transit of Aries, it is the transit of Pisces. Can you believe that? Can you believe how we have been perpetuating a lie? Well, yeah, it's possible. It's quite possible to believe. But then again, now that we have that awareness, what do you think this generates within your holographic body, within your geometrical body? That decoherence in between what our body, our biological body, is tuning from the field and what we are believing and what we are saying. Of course, that influences, limits in a big way our form of manifesting, because manifestation comes through coherence. So if we're not living in the required level of coherence within our biological body and the asters and the astrum, then how can we manifest? How can the stars help us with their plasma to manifest, because we are not aligned, fully aligned to their truth? We even see it in our planet Earth. There is a north of origin, which is not Polaris. That is the star with which we are aligned due to the Earth's axis tilt. It's not the original one. So when we start to connect with the north of origin, as the ancients did, because they did take into consideration the north of origin. But tell me now, who takes into consideration the north of origin? And then you will track that the stars, the constellations aligned to the north of origin, are actually marking this crucial point in human evolution. And they are marking it through integrating actually Cetus and Pisces. I'm not saying this just because I just woke up one day and thought it was fun. You can see this in the Dendera zodiac. This is embedded in the Dendera zodiac, and this is embedded in the stars, in the cycles, and how it can be proved. Their cycles by measuring their beaming, their intermittence, and their alignment to the sun. So, for instance, when we consider Pisces and Cetus in March, because they are together, they are showing, they're integrating the codes of the non-linear time. Why? Because their cycles, you have Pisces first, then Cetus, and then again Pisces. Can you believe this? Can you truly imagine having a zodiac system where you celebrate first Pisces, then another sign, and then again Pisces? Wouldn't it make you like a little bit of conflict to with your belief systems or systems of belief? You know, because then you would say, no, 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 that is part of the past. You know, we passed that cycle. How can we go back to Pisces if it has already been in transit? Because time and cycles are not linear, of course, they're spiraling. So just by integrating the truth, the knowledge of all these astrological systems in unity, they are empowering our holographic body and enabling a level of plasma in which we will be able to connect with the solar flares. And instead of saying, whoa, that's a high peak, I don't want to do anything, I just want to, perhaps you can give yourself that time. It's great. However, you can also experience the other aspect, which is feeling super energized and not only connecting with the plasma coming from the sun, also coming from the plasma, with the plasma coming from Alcyon, that blue sun, which is actually influencing us big time right now. Do you want to say something?
So much.
Okay, go for it.
I doing a little disservice and not being able to cover that what you just said. So what? Forgive me. Anyway, yeah. So originally I was going into a sidereal astrology, a little bit month off from regular Hellenic or Greek astrology. So people are looking at that. If you're like Aquarius, like me, it's sidereal, Capricorn. Same. And not all the time. It depends on where the window is. So look into that, and you can take energy from both. So you don't have to give up on it. What you were told you were, and then like my whole life is a lie, like that. It's really about integrating the entire map of who you are that's reflecting in these stars, because you're the heavens as well as what is in the body. You're beyond just the body. It's a waiting to be integrated, like parts of yourself. So you can go through the houses, learn, turn in all the vices into virtues, learn all the different aspects, take or leave the aspects of personality, figure out what is truly you in eminence and what's reflecting your life path, who you'll become, a bunch of other cool things that come up. So my thing, I'm making a different type of astrology, as hers is unified astrology, and mine is psionic astrology, which I use my abilities to tune into it, and I teach others they can do the same. The emissions of the stars and planets. The planets are alive. They talk to me. I've had brilliant conversations with them. They have a lot of wisdom. They've come to me very vividly at times and very strong, and their telepathy is really good. They do blessings. They're like gods in the sky. That's why the Greek did that. And they have avatars. They incarnate here. They will go beyond just regular incarnation, which they'll see this as a game and have us as chess players, and they'll invest into people they like. They'll become part of their collective consciousness and go up higher in the collectives and influence and give great blessings to those they really like. You can get the entire solar system like you. I recommend that. They have drama. They're probably the most dramatic planets in the universe, and they're put all together here for that reason, to resolve drama together and then overcome deep challenges to make a big chess move that will affect everything else, with a human experiment and many other interesting things that are going on in the melting pot of bringing them all together. They have various things they're good at. They have a mystery school of incarnation, billions of realms on them, heavenly, neutral, and darkish realms. They have armies. They've been through some big traumatic things. If you have any hate for any particular planet, I'd recommend in this show practicing getting rid of it, as they are you can't get rid of them, and also they are benefit. They make the place better. Like for instance, Saturn. It's a At least this, so you can take this with a grain of salt. This is what I read into it, and also my conversations with them. They used to be a star. They fell. It's an interesting concept. They became back into a planet for various reasons and of overwhelm of big heaviness on the weight on their shoulders. And they also had drama and things going on with them. So it's like the Mad Titan Kronos, which is one of the avatars that represents them, going through some drama as he was being usurped in his age by the next generation. And then did a bunch of things with using oracles and stuff to try to prevent that. And then had to take on a bunch of weight. Anyone that rules the solar system has to take on a bunch of weight of defending the solar system from intense darknesses. And they can make you go insane, fractured parts and pieces get taken away. Some of the planets have gone into a coma. Without all the planets including Saturn, there would be a lot more planets that have been destroyed. And some of the ones that are destroyed, they're destroyed on this realm version of them, and there are other realm versions of them that are intact. There are even planets that are out of phase or in other dimensions. And there are way more planets than just the 8 or 9 that people talk about, and the microplanets, the dwarf planets, the ones in the asteroid belt, and then there's going out way farther in the spiral, a lot more planetoids than they know about. There's also this big game that's going on here with karmic resolution and the bring to peace of all wars remedy that's taking some of the planets influence the destruction of other planets and invasions, and our planets have been through the light and the dark expression of war with everything that's been going on. Some of the planets or previous planets that have been destroyed have parts of themselves put in here, either by just floating here in influence or being taken or portaled in. And then they're in the karmic game, and they have an influence on us and our body and how we manifest, as like the science of like a dewdrop that, as seeing the stars pass over it, reflects into its programming that's taking in. Same with as soon as you're born out of the womb, how you're imprinted, and as the gestational period of the 8 or 9 months that you're in there. This is also gone into with the cell salts. There are 12 of those, the essential cell salts that a body can produce. Usually most humans produce 9 of them based on what months they were gestating. And the ones they're not gestating are the ones they lack and they need to get. And there's many other little avenues that point to the influence of the celestial bodies, the gravitational effect. Like if you're born in space, your whole body would manifest differently. Or if you gestated in space, it would be deformed and different. As well, the gravity affects how we grow in the womb, as well as if you were to look at the different timelines for different races, different realms with different celestial body and star outlays, they manifest differently. If you look at the different timelines where some of the planets were destroyed that are in the heavens, our body will manifest differently as well. So it influences growth in many other subjects of energy generating, emitting to us in frequencies, which are also pointed to in science as, like, if you listen to the songs of Mars or Venus or Saturn, and the Earth has a Schumann resonance, and there's some interesting rabbit holes that go down where these frequencies generate in the micro, like how the body will generate more cells. If you go look into bions and how the concept of the Schumann resonance, if you take sterilized, completely clear water and you project Schumann resonance into it and look at it in different types of microscopes, and there's things with plasma looking at the work field. These things start to form, and then they make little versions of what will become microbes in completely sterile water. So it's like the planet is generating life. And these planets also generate different forms of consciousness. And the planets you see, you're just seeing one of their realms. The other realms, they like to stay more secure. They'll have a lot more life. And even the planets as they are will have life. There's some interesting rabbit holes you can go into and what kind of life that these planets are holding, and as well their moons, and what are the moons and their consciousness, and Saturn having a harem of moons, and then like what's going on with that, and they're mostly like feminine, and then all these, and like Jupiter protecting the solar system from meteorites, and have a big shielding protection tech. All these planets are good at things, and you can go through their mystery school. You can work with them. You can project, like the school of like the Solarians, I think, where you go through the sun and you can astral travel and go to other places and stars and go through their mystery schools, and they'll teach you a bunch of cool stuff, and you evolve towards your growth and ascension. There's so much. Each one of these planets is a school. A lot of people that are here have graduated from a lot of the planets in the solar system already, and then worked up to the harder game, Earth. And some of you already still have versions of yourself on those planets in some of the realms, or in some spiritual form or management or something. Because in graduation, you learn a lot of things. Whatever that means, whatever amount of time you spent there, a lot of the places you go, planets, you'll be mastering what the planet's good at, as well as the situations it's facing in problems, and learning how to solve them. And then becoming like a creator being, it all depends on like how far you want to go in the school, to where you're like a hyper level management of that place, and you earn high level authority, such as being like a creator god of that plane of existence. So Earth is good at divinity and a lot of other cool stuff, and it's a rich place of like a melting pot of so many. She adopts so many species, DNA library, Akasha, so many here. But you guys kind of know all that in your heart. So we're going into these deeper meanings of these planets that you may or may not have been to or remembering, and there's some deep stuff with there. And so feel free to comment which things you want us to read, if it has association with you, or you just have an interesting curiosity. For instance, going into Cetus, example, these things are good at a lot of things. So Cetus is interesting. It's good at fame and status. So increasing like your interactive visual spectrum of how you present yourself to more and more consciousness of the hologram, to where more people see you. Change, as well as the spectrum of all time, which is like eternity, and going into the state of awareness that's beyond time and sees it all, and then creates from that. As well as every one of these constellations and planets, internally in you, you have a thing that branches off your soul, which branches in the solar plexus, that branches off the conscious mind, which branches off the ego, which branches off aspects of yourself called either alter personalities or archetypes. So each one of these has an archetype or alter personality in you waiting to integrate, as well as that allows you to go deeper into the school. And then you can form a greater relationship with each of these celestial bodies, friendship, getting them to like you fully, where there's a constant trade, where they're supplying you with empowerment, things they're good at. As you trade them things you're good at. And this goes in greater advancement because they can do some cool things like big miracle stuff, which I'll be going to in deeper. Anything you want to say on that before I go deeper?
Yeah, speaking of miracles, Cetus, one of the stars that constructs that constellation, is the part of the neck that connects with Pisces, and its name is Mira or Mira, which is miracle. So, and it's mirror as well. So it's related to that capability to mirror into the reality that we choose to embody. And yeah, you were talking about the planets, and I want to comment about Saturn, for instance, this very famous uh, uh, this this king with the lunar harem, you said. And well, also the story of Saturn or Kronos is that he devours his 12 children, like he eats them. And this is quite related to the DNA, how the linear time system devours the physical construction that we have and that we inhabit if we don't actually do the specific configurations to detach from those imprints. One of them is actually moving from a linear time system, the Gregorian calendar, to an accurate one. Another thing, acknowledging that Pisces is the first zodiac sign and not Aries. Even in the Bible says the first ones will be the last ones. And it's talking about Pisces being, well, one of the things, Pisces being the last zodiac sign and actually and originally being the first. So when we start aligning all those aspects, then we stop that devouring of time into our cells, aging, all those process of aging. The linear time, it's quite related to aging, you know. So that's another booby trap, to say it somehow, you know, within the control systems. So there is also another question here from David. What is the energy of Spica? Well, Spica is one of the fixed
Virgo.
stars in Virgo. The fixed stars, just to clarify, are stars that are pillars of this construction and beyond this construction are gateways. If we connect with those stars, what they are enabling is our connection from the artificial matrix to the primordial matrix to restore our hologram to that primordial matrix. Again, they say that the the captain, the ones that would be navigating in the sea, would use them as point of reference. Yes, but they're also pillars because they other like the ships, like the aquatic ships, and also the spaceships take them as point of reference, such as well as the pulsars to other portals and wormholes. But anyway, so Spica relates to abundance, that state of fertility, of creation. It's opening your energetic womb, regardless if you're a man or a female, or woman or a man. It's opening to that gateway of creation, of bringing the codes wherever, like any kind of codes that you want to bring and anchor into this reality, any reality that you want to manifest. Spica is very good for that. And just before you to finish for now, there are, from the fixed stars, there are also four very important stars, which are the royal stars: Regulus, which is the lion; which is located in the constellation of Leo. Piscis Austrinus, which is located in, well, the Piscis Austrinus is the Volmahut is the constellation, and Piscis Austrinus, it's another, but there's another code to that. And it leads us to the fish that ate Osiris phallus. What does Osiris phallus represent? The power. It was castrated, and then it was being given a golden phallus. So that fish means the removal of the most primitive, not as archaic, but the most conditioning aspect of our instinct. Okay. And then we have Aldebaran, which is in Taurus, and which leads actually to Pleiades. And then we have Antares, which is in Scorpio. So quickly, those 4 pillars are connected to the 4 cardinal points, to the 4 rings, to the 4 worlds. Everything that comes in force, these are pillars to manifest them, and besides the very specific connotation that each one of these stars have. For instance, Antares is super powerful for sexuality, like for sacred sensuality. If you want to bring in that power, Antares brings that magnetism, that mysticism, that space that holds you and brings you and then creates. That's one of the things. Another thing is capability to manifest in a very encrypted way. If you don't want to go fully forward openly at something, then it's like a cover. It's like a shield. It's like a camouflage. It's also very powerful for that. It's also powerful to show people's flaws, their shadow, what they need to correct. And Regulus is big opening of the heart, big mastery opening of the heart, when our passion and our strength, it comes from our heart. And Aldebaran is very helpful for the third eye. It's actually the connection to go deeper in the time and space management. It also connects with the most archaic knowledge of plasma activation, of vital force enhancement and harnessing that central energy. It's also connected with illumination, hence in the third eye, as I was saying. And it's quite connected to the gateway of transcendence from the distortion of Orion into the new, the upgrade in relation to the solar plasma coming from Alcyon, and many more things, many more things, like sustaining the level of coherence, and then being capable to move beyond, like within time and space, mastering the rings of time, which are the seals that are created to, going beyond those seals. Thank you. So those, please keep in mind those 4 stars as well. If you want to imagine mapping your reality, like that wishing board, or, manifesting board, mapping your reality, choosing stars, and then relating them to very specific organs. So, when you are, or very specific parts of your body, you can be working out and then giving the command that while you're working out, you are connecting and enhancing your connection with those stars, and therefore creating very specific commands of manifestation. But first, as Sean was saying, it's like a relate. It's not like, it's a relationship. You cannot move forward already with them, like, hey, I'm here to stay. No, you need to connect with them. You need to tune into their field, because there is a lot within their field. There are pure things, and there could be a lot of distortion. So you need to remove that distortion and get to connect truly, directly. Oh, thank you, Patricia.
Yeah, and we'll get to more comments and stuff. For
Yes.
Spica, part of Virgo, tuning into the Virgo energy in mystery school. Yeah, I'll go into each little aspect, so it'll give me an excuse to go deeper. Virgo loves sex and purity. Purity more with Spica. Some of the stars, there's a back and forth between light and dark, because they're alive. They got drama. They got things that got going on in the micro. They got life in them. They got Star Wars. Some of the stars and the solar systems have been taken over by multidimensional predators and corrupted, and then they become like a trap for evil, is then their main purpose until they overcome, and then they push the consciousness back into sustained unity goodness, which like everyone out there can do this, such as with what's going on with Draco. But Spica's good. She's got stuff going on that's positive in purity. So
Yeah.
And then also Venus will go into love, divine feminine, spirit beauty, and again, every one of these things have a archetype and altar inside you. There are other things that go into love. Virgo plus two other constellations have love, but Virgo is a little bit more higher than the others. And then there's like 33 plus other galaxies, like M39. That's like one of the top galaxies of love that I'm allowed to talk about. It's a little bit near Cygnus. You can go through those mystery schools if you want to use the stars and the planets to help you bring more love into your life, as well as kind of like how things are doing to find a remedy. But it goes into like treating them like consciousness, like a love doctor or whatever they're good at doctor, and then gaining their support and blessing into your life to fulfill it. With the changing of the rotation into the houses, there's a micro macro spectrum of things that people can predict. Like the Rockefellers will go into a famous quote where the difference between a millionaire and a billionaire is billionaire believes in astrology. And they mostly go into this with predicting events, and not like, I mean, you can go into the personality and love life stuff if you want, but that's not going to get you billions. It's more of predicting the stock market that they're going into, and world-changing events, and to look for or that and the ups and downs, and what to look for, because that can has a deep change in our consciousness, and to what to look forward to in the next 4 years, and we'll look into that too. Now, so I'll give you some framework, and then we build off of it. So the zodiac is reflecting micro to macro. This is Psionic astrology. So what people other than me say, cool. This is mine. This is what I'll help other people understand. And she's got some cool, awesome stuff too. So 5 things. The zodiac, the houses, and the planets reflect stuff in the body, the mind, the spirit, a magic force of conjuration or summoning manifestation, as well as energies being received in a circuit of exchange, which there's a bunch with that. that depending on the cycles, what houses they're in. There's also, with each planet, they're constantly emitting what they have in jobs in aspects of reality, such as with power, miracles, control, what they're helping release and resolve, knowledge, health, growth, ascension, morality, the mind. There's more than that. I'm just giving that as an example. Then, so what it does while shining onto our world and passing through the houses of the stars. We'll go into like some things in specific. So I'll give some things, and then if you guys want us to read into specifics, we will. So yeah, there's a guy that's went into, do they have chakra centers as well with Third Eye Tribe? Thank you for the comment. Yeah, they go throughout the body. They have their own chakras. They're planets. Their whole big ass consciousness. they go into all these schools there, have a whole bunch of incarnations before they became a planet. So they master of all of this stuff, but there are things they're better at, and they're having to do with the range of frequencies. Like Saturn represents the crown because he's emitting the highest frequency. And then, the others there are different people that say are meaning of different things, though I kind of like tune into like specifics with like Earth being the heart, Venus being the sacral, Jupiter being around, it's like the third eye, I think. But there's they can move too, and they interact with the organs as well. So let's say I'm reading Capricorn, for instance, right now. In the body, it's telling me it represents the small intestines. And like 12, well, there's more than 12, but going into a lot of the 10 plus major organs, and then beyond, because the brain has a bunch of cool stuff. The mind, Capricorn, represents the scholar aspect of your mind in the Akashic record, gaining information. In the spirit, it represents your exchange of energy towards a blast of raw full spectrum truth. And in the magic force conjuration summoning manifestation part of it, it goes into emotional flow torus circuit of you with your reality projecting and receiving and manifesting anything, but through emotions. There's multiple ways to manifest, so I will have multiple houses doing type of manifestation. With the energies being received in a circuit of exchange, it produces majorly two, resistance to the forces of evil or opposition that you have on the chessboard, and graduating and detaching in remedy from addiction, which is interesting. Now, that being said, I believe in Capricorn, Venus is in Capricorn now. So then you overlay what she's good at, which is love, divine feminine, spirit, beauty. And so you put that when she's going through the house with, interaction with the small intestines, the Akashic record. So then is like love, beauty, divine feminine, amplified energy. It's like, so whenever, the stars are emitting right to you in a stream of energy, and then the planet gets in the path, its magnetic field can take it in like an over unity device and then reject it even more amplified, but with the things it's good at. And it likes to do this in the exact stream that's coming to you in vision having to do with the planet. So if you're on another planet in the solar system, there'll be other angles of light and energy coming at you. So it'll be a different type of astrology. Same thing with other star systems. Then, we'll go into some of the other cool planets and stars that you guys want to talk about. Let's go look through the comments. What do we got here? Yeah, thanks for all the comments, guys.
Yes.
Love it.
Yeah, there are also other questions in
You got questions?
Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, and there is another one here.
Cool, and we can go into the reading soon.
Yeah.
With whoever wants, like James.
Okay, it's what's the distortion of Orion, and there is also so as they interact and blend.
Thanks for bringing up Orion. What do you want to say about that?
Yeah, well, when I said the distortion of Orion, as we know, Orion is a boiling point for many things at many scales. One of the first things is that Orion is the gateway, the entrance to planet Earth through the wormholes that are located in the Earth's black hole. As I have been saying, like, yeah, a black hole in the Earth, all of this information will be soon official. As the black hole in the sun that has been recently coming to the field and kind of received and accepted. Well, the same thing will happen about the Earth. But anyway, so in the Earth there is a black hole, and it interconnects to mainly the Orion's Nebula, which in the ancient times they would call it Xibalba. And it's also quite related to the holes of Amenti, because it's that transcendence of the artificial matrix and going beyond the dome. So the distortion of Orion is, I was mainly referring to all these factions trying to get to take over control in Orion, and the Orion's War, and also what we can get to see at a very human level, which is correcting the patriarchy or patriarchal encoding that was projected in the artificial matrix. This is kind of a more complex topic because it relates, like the brain and the genesis and so forth. But so I'm just going to cover it, like the intro or to some extent. But for instance, when we say that Alusa is the feminine aspect, the warrior, the feminine warrior of Orion, and Orion, of course, is the masculine. When they come together, then we are going beyond those archetypes that enroll such a huge, important constellation, being a male. And I'm not saying this, but no, feminine is better, no, masculine is better. No, just be precisely going through that unitement, through that unified perception, that through those mythos, they were kind of encrypting that form of perception and relation. Imagine that every star, as I was saying in the beginning, imagine that every star has a very specific intermittence, a very specific beaming. Those beamings are capable to reach our neurons. They are not only capable, they do. If our mitochondria is generating energy at a cosmic level, also our neurons through every synapses is interconnecting with the stars at all time because we are entangled. So all those encryptions that were given to Orion and everything that involves, then it is continuously pulsing. So that a correction, or that, as I said, the distortion is precisely one of the things, like imprinting that archetypical, that patriarchal state within the arc, within our genetic arc, which is also related to the Osiris arc, the constellation Argo Navis. And it's also quite connected to the program of sacrifice, because the golden fleece is sacrifice. So then again, the lamb that is sacrificed for its purity, castrated, and so forth, like all of this, that's the distortion at a conductual level. That it's influencing the patterns of behavior, I mean. And other is the Orion War, the the factions trying to take over. There are a lot of factions trying to take over Orion's Nebula, the lost jewel of the jewel of Orion, Messier 42, which is actually connected to Andromeda Galaxy, that Xibalba, because someone asked, what's the difference in between Andromeda Galaxy and Andromeda as a constellation? So that's one of the things. Their connection. So yeah, it's that. Okay.
Yeah. Ryan, my
Mhm.
God. Okay, so yeah, so like I said before, some of the stars aren't emitting their original purpose as strongly as they should because of the drama that they got going on. Orion's one of these. There's light, dark, and neutral throughout it. A lot of different species. There's whole Orion wars. People can go into their Akashic records and past lives, and if they want help with that, then you talk to us. That are deep and wounding and ancient, and still have time travelers messing with it and going back in time and making it worse. There's I constantly seeing beings invade the planets and multidimensional predators stealing more and more stuff to try to invade and hijack realms and then turn it into a hell realm. And then they use that realm to attack other places like Earth, which if you've been through the Atlantis fall, Egypt fall, and a bunch of falls of civilizations, there's a lot of those coming at people. And if they fell into your trap and you know how to resolve realms, congratulations, you can take that realm back, though it's heavy lifting. Yeah, it's getting messed up, corrupted, but it's got a lot of power. That's why it's so sought after. It's a divine jewel, a key. Solomon's key goes into it. There's like secret aspects to it that go into unlocking the matrix in the keyhole of the stars, and a lot of the reality and unlocking things. There's so much. It's one of the most well-known star systems, and one of the big things calling people for remedy, besides like Lyra and other people. And their soul being called, why are you here on Earth? Oh, I got to resolve that big drama that I went through in Orion or whatever. And we are the cure. We have the remedy for these stars, and we can give them help. Besides right now where it's neutral because there's a constant light and dark war coming in, it's not too corrupted, but specific places are very corrupted. And some of the stars are having some trouble. And, I don't exactly agree with the physics that scientists go into with the dying of stars concepts, because they're conscious and they have different things going on, but, whatever. You can talk to them, you can figure out what's going on. Some, planets can go into a coma. Like Mars is been waking up out of a coma, so you can say hello to them. If you want to help a planet get out of a coma, I'd recommend working on the moon. It's in a coma right now. Right now we're getting messages from Neptune, and they want to say hello, and I'll tune into them and let you guys connect more. So there's so much to resolve with Orion. So Orion's also a reflection in cosmology, my God, my brain right now. Astrotheology and other stuff with like Osiris and Ceres is you go into the Isis, and what's the one for Horus? It's the
Monoceros.
Yeah.
Monoceros is the unicorn. Mon, one, and I call it one eye. Monoceros.
So a lot of these mythoses whether there are some of the beings that actually have avatars in the physical and some interestingly play out certain scenarios, or that actually happened, or the mythos combined with them and used stories from the stars to play out a thing, or it's just the stories of the stars being played out as mythos. There's a lot to figure out with this, but so I read that there is a similarity that you guys can help with Orion, though you want to use loving detachment because it's got a lot of drama, where it's like Osiris going through like 3 stages. One is Osiris being put in the box by Set and imprisoned, and then having dying, and that's essentially like a matrix being formed around Orion that's similar to the one around us, our planet, and other places, and that needs to be resolved. The resolution is reality revolution, because all these technologies weren't born from evil. Evil doesn't create anything; it steals shit. So matrices originally were made by the light. They're hijacked, corrupted, and then used as prison and energy harvesting systems. So those can be taken back, and then revolutionary remedy healed because they're conscious to a more healthy state. And then they resolve things, which is nice. Then also the cutting up of Osiris into 13, 14, where there's different number plus pieces, and the losing of the penis, all that. The stars, the people, the destruction, the planets, been fractured. Like a lot of parts and pieces being stolen, taken other places, condensed in big multidimensional predators that stole them for power and authority. That needs to be resolved. Then also the remedy of the rebirth by Isis resurrecting Osiris as Horus, and the collective consciousness, that representing the collective consciousness of all that were a part of Orion, coming here to Earth to become a new remedy and cure to push back the darkness and resolve Orion. It's a lovely little thing with that in the story, micro, macro, you guys can look into and figure out like our destinies as the cure for evil.
Hi, Mika. I thought I was Astrology's here. Come on. We will have you in the next one. In the part 2. We will be generating an interstellar revolution. Let's go, Mika.
I like that. That's a cool word. Interstellar revolution.
Okay, where the matrix is originally designed for an accelerated learning system. Do you want to address to that first, or me?
I'd love to hear your thing on it, and then I'll go.
Okay. Well, as I remember, James, the matrices are like the fundamental construction for any form of reality. So there are infinite matrices, and as we know, matrix in Latin is womb, so it's where the reality happens. So every reality that is inside a matrix is in an incubation, so there are different purposes for different matrices. For instance, I love that you look at it that way, an accelerated learning system for this artificial matrix. That's one of the aspects of it, because then you're coming from a unified form of perception, which I love. You're looking at the what for, not the why. And so the matrices, there are some ones that actually they ralentize, they go really slow, so it depends on the purpose that is configured within that matrix. And let's say that the stars play a big role in that, in those pillars that are encrypting and holding the encryptions for that matrix, mostly holding the encryptions for those matrices, because they are like, imagine in the quantum field those beamings of light that keep on activating very specific algorithms within every matrix. For instance, here, Pegasus Cube, because someone also asked about Andromeda, and Pegasus Cube is an asterism. And an asterism is not a constellation per se. It's the communion of different stars from different constellations that when they come together, they create a powerful outcome. And in the case of Pegasus Cube, we can see that it's also known as the God's table. So that is a major, major encryption for this matrix. That's why it's used a lot in hermetics to create alchemy, to create magic, to create conjurations, to create, because they know that those stars are shaping in a very specific form this matrix. And for instance, even we can see in the because Sean asked me about or Horus, to what constellation it is related to, and then I said Monoceros, which is the unicorn. And if we see the flag of the of Great Britain, it has a unicorn and a lion, and there is more to that flag, but it shows how they know because they are anchoring the information, they're using that information on their behalf.
And for everyone out there, we also got cards. So if you want a card, put it in the chat. And also, what do you want the card for? Make sure to say that. And we'll do a serious one and a funny one. And I'll go into the Matrix. I mean, if you want to learn Matrix magic, feel free to contact me for a session. I will teach you. I'm not really allowed to give that publicly easily, but it's construct. It's got consciousness. It's usually made by high level authorities. Not many beings are allowed to make them. They can be stolen, though. A lot are stolen. There are many different types. You will mostly find the ones used offensively to project around a person, their soul, and energy body compressed around them, or the overlays with the planet. There are billions, and it's ebb and flow because the dark is constantly trying to find the authorities or the prime creator and steal from them during times of wounding to steal more matrices, and they put it around and hold people back from awakening and evolving and growing. So there are positive ones. There's defensive ones. A lot of them interact with simulation tech, which can go into a barrier of, oh no, yeah, you're totally hurting me. Oh no. And it's like you're not getting any attack whatsoever. They can go into having an effect like growth or power or amplify. There's money matrices. There's ones for abundance. So like the positive one versus the corrupted one for any effect. The ones I capture, I use to bring evil beings to goodness and then get them to graduate through quarantine realms. And those are nice. I treat those with a lot of love, and then that helps bring a lot more goodness and light to the planet. But there's a lot to be resolved with this one because it's one of the more advanced ones, and it's got a lot of angles and a lot of other places entangled with it, trying to manipulate it. So there's a lot of layers to resolve. But as you guys have been noticing, a lot of the layers of the matrices are collapsing, especially having to do with the physical domination control systems. Yeah. So, good job, everybody, with all the work you guys have been doing. And we can gear up to do a little session if
someone wants a card.
Okay.
Patricia.
Okay, I totally dig the cards and next to awareness, healing in it. Okay, awareness and healing. Okay. You want to do the serious one? I'll do the joking one. Or do you want to do the joking one?
Yeah, my serious face is on vacation, so.
Okay.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, and then I'll do the funny one.
Do you want
do
to?
this too.
Okay, you want to do the funny one? Okay. Fine. I'll pick one. So it's first or healing, and then you read whatever it is. Okay. Here we go.
Okay. Ha.
Oh, you got the one of the blank cards. Wow.
Ooh, that's
okay,
infinite.
I'll pick another one for you. Yeah. What do you think that means?
No, go ahead, and then we can pick another one, a funny one.
Yeah. I'll get it for you. It'd be funny if it's another blank card.
Yeah.
Here you go. Is it good?
Yeah.
Let me see. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what that means. How's that going to help her?
And we were talking about this England.
Let me know you were into that.
Yeah.
Okay. The serious card you got. There's the camera. It's dragon one. The Emperor. So it's got a emperor with a dragon behind them and some kids playing with some little baby dragons. So feel free to put in the comment, what do you think that means to bring Patricia awareness in healing? I'll tune into it. And it's pointing to the emperor.
Okay. Well, I have it. Okay. It says, the funny one. An all-midget production of Shakespeare's Richard III. Okay, so for me, this is related that everything that you have used to do master creations is in the details. So focus in the details, because those are the ones that now, in that next step, will give you how you get to create, or how you got to create masterpieces. That's on one side, and on another side is that which connects you to the masculine energy that you have taken, as merely a detail, is which actually is constructing your reality in relation to the masculine energy. Because the masculine energy, it's also about expansion. It's also about order, about limits, about grounding. So what this says to me is that you're being invited to recapitulate, to check how your inner masculine energy is, for you to go into that step forward, into expansion, because your next step is actually quite related to expansion. And in those details, you will find them, that perhaps you could have never thought of. It will come to you, those cues for your relation to the masculine and your expansion.
Okay, so yeah, and with the blank card, like she's the way I tune into it is what she's talking about, and also you need to empty a lot of the bulk data in you that's negative. So you're emptying your glass of all the negative energy. With the Emperor card, you went to the blue aqua dragon. Points to the Emperor. Let's see how that works. Yeah. Okay. As to do with like the seat of your sovereignty, center in the heart. a lot of it's centering within, as if in you is already on the top person, the master of the reality, the already healed self. And it emanating and shining brighter and brighter. And so it recommends you meditate with that. Yeah. And then go deep into your heart and bring that out, letting go of all that's not it. It's holding it back from coming out. So it's like safely and pushing out, and whatever way you want to bring that out by pushing what's not you in attachment and weight on your heart. That's not that reality. And it's already within you and it needs to grow, get brighter. The Shakespeare thing points to Shakespeare. You know much about Shakespeare?
Yeah, well, there are, like all kind of stories that it was the name that, like, he was not truly the writer. There was someone that, like, was asking him to publish all those and be that face for everything that was being published. So then again, like that that hidden part that in relation to the, well, you go, then I'll go.
It's funny, it's something to do with poetry. Some type of, it's, oh yeah, poetry is kind of like a spell too. Haikus and all that. It's like a word formula. It goes an affirmation and making with your words true. So I'd recommend making a poem about healing and then making it something that you can say eloquently and memorize and have in your mind and say whenever you need to. Wow. Okay. Yeah, and let us know if you want more cards, and then we can you want to do a reading?
Yeah, about the emperor, what I see is that, for instance, we see that the emperor is sitting, like laying on the dragon, on the blue dragon, which again is that masculine aspect that is holding a sword, which is that order, that contention, and yet, like peacefully relying on that dragon, which is the power, which is again the security, the protection, the order, because dragons, among the many things that they are related to, in this case what I related to is the capability of putting a very specific boundary and order to boundaries and order in your reality, within your reality, using that masculine energy. We see that there are two children, a girl and a boy, and both of them are holding like two baby dragons. So, and the emperor is like looking at them, enjoying at them, they having their own dragon. So the fruits of your achievements will be measured by the level of attention you give to that which you have considered before as something not given, also that very valuable recognition, and that hold the codes, the transmission, like looking at somewhere else and now looking at those details that you created, those fractals that you generated, and see the information there of that which at some point you thought lost.
Nice, well said. Okay, so before we do our reading and then we'll head out, give Neptune, because he's gonna give us some gifts and there's like blessings for the planets and stars we're talking about because they're listening. Neptune is gonna give you guys blessings, of course. They're really good at dream a harvest, and not in any negative way, but like growing and then the fruition. So there's a lot of things it's like forest and a farm kind of thing. A lot of realms having to do with that they have, as well as balancing order and chaos. So they're really good at that. Right now, Neptune is in retrograde. So let's see what that means in what they're good at again, the positive version of an opposite of their usual forces. So for dreams, dispelling of nightmares. Ooh, nice. Harvest. What part? So there's like seeds in things that we gain in harvest, like the fruit, and it's about the gathering process for seeds seems to be happening. Then the balance, order, and chaos. How's that going? Let's see. The facing of big chaoses that would first be a little upending, but then make a big difference when it's balanced with order in the reality, as an example. And then for everyone out there, some cool stuff. Fucus. Fertility, what it's good at: fertility, womb, seed, egg, and sperm. Tech, which goes in the serpent bearer and interaction with the center of the galaxy and the mission of life and all that cool stuff. Uncovering what's hidden, which makes sense with it being hidden and being like, oh, I gotta suppress that. Don't look at that stuff, and you can't hide it. And then helping people do that as well. And then, it's like everyone's covered by a fig leaf too, in reality. And then having an altar. Now, also, what else I got? I got Pisces. So Pisces got interesting stuff. So is in the water elemental. It seems to be good at all types of fluid, all liquid, all combinations with the liquid state, as well as the fluids, all the fluids secreted in the body. It has a cure for addiction, and it's powerful at integration. Aquarius, soul intelligence, higher self part. It's like there's a bunch of higher selves. I'm going to decode them. I'm probably going to be the first one to do the decoding of all the different aspects of the higher self. So look forward to that. Stay tuned, subscribe. So it's a higher self part having to do with the future happening events, as if you're part of the future of your hologram and how it's doing versus incursion and stuff. Then as well, it's good at the consciousness of a realm kind of being. So that kind of state of reality and consciousness. And integrating that within you or external. Saturn is in Aquarius right now, so like syncing those up. Saturn's good at law, dominance, and resolving darkness. I'm gonna work on Aries next, then some other stuff. But yeah, there's some cool things going on in the planets. So we're in our next show, we'll probably have ready for you what will be coming up in the next 4 years based on what is the main state of being of the planets for those 4 years.
Yeah, like with so many alignments that will be happening in the next year, it gives me the feeling of a rubric cube, like doing all those motions in order to get that full axis with all these timelines being restored, other collapsing by being merged and so forth. So that rubric cube, being aligned and configured to the next level. And also you were talking about Neptune. Neptune is coming a lot to the field. There are beings there like cephalopods that are actually founders. And one of the cubes that has come to me and that has been found in relation to the 12 portals in the earth, one is related to the cephalopods, actually. So, yeah, it's quite exciting.
Okay, so Aries, it's good at soul power, magic, and limitless. So interesting. So I'll get guess with James. We can do a little reading, and then we got to go. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just call you on Facebook since I have you. I gotta put him near the mic, I guess. Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Good.
Can you guys hear James? Thumbs up in the comments if you can hear him. Here, speak a little, James.
Is that better?
Yeah, you go. Yeah, say some. Start singing for us, so we can tell if they can hear you. Just making sure. Okay, so while we're waiting for their thumbs up, okay, they can hear you. Wonderful. So what can we help you with? What love you, buddy. Thanks for coming on.
Hi,
and
James.
What can we do for you?
Like I'm looking at for the deeper aspects of things, like part of the life mission, the whole creating a level playing field, ridding the negative energy harvesting system.
Interesting. So you want to get rid of the energy harvesting system on you?
The negative one.
Not the positive one harvesting of you, of course. Yeah. Okay, cool. And anything else you want to go into with that and symptoms that you're experiencing? And well, can we tune into you and can we go into helping you resolve this?
Yes, I just want to open those higher centers that seem to be being blocked by some agencies.
Okay. You have anything you want
to? No, that's the suit I'm reading, and then are we pulling a card?
We can, we'll pull a card for him, but like, go ahead into it with what you read, blank, and I'll. If you wanna pull one while you're or.
Yeah, I pull one. Okay. Nice talking to you, James.
You too. It's I seem to resonate core level a lot with you guys.
Oh, thank you. Likewise.
Yeah, I got to do a session with him. He's really nice and powerful.
Yeah, I can tell. Oh, this is beautiful. Okay.
You got an interesting one. You got a funny. Okay. So we can go into that, but like he's essentially going into making him like what I call and eventually I'll come out with it. I got so many notes on this, which is reaching infinite energy. You can draw energy from various sources as well as generate it yourself at high levels and not be in lack. And being able to get there, a lot of it's for accounting for the energy harvesting system.
Yeah, for instance, there is a way that in our physical body, our joints are connected to those energetic harvesting systems that control through the artificial matrix. There are toruses, as I was saying, located in our 13 joints. So if you detach from those 13 joints, from those harvesting control systems, then you will definitely be clearing your energy and gaining much more. I can tell you this, I sleep like 3 hours a day. Sometimes or 4, sometimes I really get tired, but it's mostly energetically speaking, for other kind of aspects, but not, like drained or leaked. And from those control systems. So, so yeah, if you detach from them, like just, I can send to you an image, so that you can connect with it, send to you a frequency, and maybe send to you a voice message how I do that. Because just imagine that you have 13 choices in each one of your joints, and how they work, how they function is that they are defaced. The rhythm in the toruses are defaced. Why? through the time control system, because the torus is spinning at a specific level, and there is the interferential influence of the artificial matrix, creating, like lessening the potential, organic potential of the torus, and therefore creating a dephase in between the rings in the clockwise and the counterclockwise. So those gaps within that torus that are created, those fissures, are filled in through those control systems. So you can clear them by connecting with the primordial matrix. I suggest it's very important time to connect with the primordial matrix.
The original, uncorrupted, pure, and eventually we'll get back to that, and it being immune from the evil and countering the evil, and then the evil fell into its trap, is what she's talking about with primordial matrix being the original pure positive thing that was created with the earth. Okay, exactly. So yeah, we can go into the cards, and then I'll do my thing. I'm not going to go into super amount of depth because there's a lot of steps, but I'll give you some hints that you'll know how to go deeper with. Okay, so the fun card, so people can figure out what this means. All right. Mm-hmm. We got greased up Matthew McConaughey for your how to detach from harvesting systems and more power. So what do you read on this?
Oh, movement, motion. You have the Chariot, and you have two dragons, like coming together, representing the feminine and the masculine, and coming together in order to move. So when you align your feminine and your masculine, then you're capable to move from those entanglements, from those attachments, which also leads me to the Taurus. I was saying a dephase in between the clockwise and the counterclockwise, which also represent the feminine and the masculine. So when you align that dephase, then you're capable to move into your full potency. And the one who moves, it's actually and moves in the required level of coherence that is going beyond any kind of attachments that could be created by that artificial matrix. It's a very deep code, like movement, because whoever, like overstays, then you get like super, it's because of attachments. The one who moves literally or not, it's because has no attachments. So it's reinforcing that from your feminine and your masculine.
You can definitely feel the planets and the stars in this call we're doing. It's much more protected than our other calls. So, thank you for helping. Lovely. We're bringing out the deep information that's matrix breaking. Okay, so yeah, with greased up Matthew McConaughey, guess in the comments, what do you think that means? How do you think that can get him more power and bring him that stuff, get him detached from the harvesting grid? And hey, everybody, thanks for coming. Okay, yeah. The balances of the polarities, big thing. Oof. I get a lot of energy in power-ups when I do this type of thing. It's like yin yang. In Qigong, they talk about bringing together the yin and yang. And when you bring them together like lovers, it generates and creates and births a whole bunch of power. There's also systems to creating fire that's like that, and deeper spiritual meaning between the unities, light, dark, masculine, feminine, and beyond that, and all the polarities. When they bring them together, they create sparks. So that's power. That's a beautiful card that I came up with.
Yes.
Let's see what we got for Spider Bite. Said Matthew has been greased like the little pig in the game of Greasy Little Pig. I've never heard of that game. The swine is not a clean piglet anymore. Trust is gone. Is that like the game where they grease up a pig and then they try to catch it? It's like the Matrix. That's symbolic. Okay.
Huh.
So for that card, it points to grease, and it's like, what is grease? It makes it so that the gears turn well, and it's oiled up so that it can work efficiently. How does that work with the body? Would you grease up your own body? It's kind of like stretching. It's kind of like warm up. It's kind of like getting the gears running, warming up the vehicle. There's all these metaphors. So you have to have a routine that warms up the power engines and then gets it to where it bursts through all the limitations and drain and harvesting grids. It flashes through that. I do this every day. It's a must. That's with because the unfortunate part of living on Earth, maybe probably a bunch of other places, but also with what I know with Earth, is it's a high level targeting. It's haunted as shit, but it's high level difficulty. It's beautiful. There's deep reasons for being here. It outweighs the negative. With that being said, you got to deal with a lot of stuff when you wake up. So all these attachments come in, all this stuff, steal your energy, lessen what you did the day before. So you got to outcreate that. And they're going to constantly try to counter you from what level you're at from the day before. And if you generated fuck tons of power, it's awesome. Oh, yeah, it's on cloud nine. And then you wake up the next day, it's like, oh, I'm so tired. Why? Or whatever. They're going to try to see what your level is at and send them out that is needed to suppress you. And there's different ways to overcome this, like peace to all wars, figuring out where the generators are in your body, how to counter those. You figure out what they're targeting, protect those, make it feel safer, and get it stronger. And it outcreates the thing coming at it. Figure out what they're using to mess with you, suppress you, or implant or steal energy. Counter that. What things are against you, what knows about you, camouflage, and then you lessening that game more and more of what they can get into you. And all because evil steals authority where they're getting that authority to come at you, and then you get stronger and stronger. And your power centers, understanding them, and then building up the pyramid and foundation so that it's strong with the ability to protect your generators and even when you're asleep, be able to protect them from being harvested. So you can build up density and light and energy and different types of power inside you so you can fuel your higher psychic functions.
Yeah. And so use your feminine, well, I suggest use your feminine and your masculine in harmony to actually speed up, like that frequency, that potency to even the pulse within your Tauruses, because this is not, like just you, James, like overall, the artificial matrix was created this way, that putting a deface in the Tauruses, and that's how the control systems attach through that deface, that decay within the Tauruses. So, like using that potency of your feminine and your masculine in a very like even qigong way. I can even like talk to you in private and then be more specific. But yeah, like these Tauruses are something that as far as I have received and remembered, is one of the fundamental ways that, or like basic ways that the artificial matrix is attached to the energetic body through the joints, because it's movement, and even the card movement, So the Taurus says that the joints are the movement, not literal, at another level.
How's that sound?
Sounds very good.
Okay, cool. So yeah, how are you feeling?
Good, very good. Of course, again, I got a lot of chi moving through my hands.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, exactly. So figure out how to bring those forces together and make them kiss and like dance them closer and closer with love, and grease up your Matthew McConaughey. make make it so that you
Shiny.
yeah, you have get the
Been
grease
told
in
a
the
lot. I'm
wheels.
very shiny.
Oh,
Yes,
good.
you are.
Perfect. Yeah. Grease up your day.
Look at the glow. It's nice.
Get a whole bunch of cream or grease or to just like make a slip and slide. No, get it so that you get try different things that work to generate more power in you, and then make them part of your routine in the day to warm you up, especially in the morning, so that it makes your whole day much different. And then if things come up to try to block you from that state, then circumvent around it and outcreate them, make yourself unpredictable, and use multiple methods. I hope that helps.
Kind of a chaotic randomness.
Yeah, that's what you get with these calls. Yeah, enjoy.
Yeah, someone here is saying dance.
Yeah. Neptune will help you balance that chaos and order. Yeah, dance. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we'll let you go, but thank you so much for calling in and being on our show. And
Yeah.
Well, thank you for all that you do.
No,
thank you.
if you want me to send to you the image of the Tauruses and the frequency, like you can just write to me in the messenger so that I can send them to you. I will be more than happy to do so.
And thank you
I
for
love that.
Thank you.
thank you for bringing this as a teaching for everyone. I'll see you later, James. Let me know how things go and stuff with your grease. I'll talk to you later.
That all helps with the safe travel, the grease.
Yeah. Have a wonderful night. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, okay. So, well, that has been a wonderful live. Thank you, everyone, for all the beautiful comments, questions, feeling the love vibe and expansive connection. Hope that we have brought insights to you, seeds of fertility and truthful manifestation coming from the space of the unified consciousness, astrology, and psionic astrology as well. So, thank you very much. If you want to contact me or Sean, well, I will be leaving the description in this video for readings, online courses. Of course, the Gregorian year is about to finish, so it's always nice to release before receiving. So, yeah, a pleasure to support you anyhow I can. And looking forward to our next live.
Yeah, and Neptune and Spica sends their regards. They're aware of this show and they're giving you guys blessings. And do you want to tell the people how the people can reach you? And also, you can reach us for greater understanding on how to connect to your celestial greater mind, the celestial vault, and some of that cool stuff, and the activation of so many things in your body with the macro, and how to commerce, telepathy, talk to these planets and stars, and go through their mystery school. What to trade with them, what they're seeking for the big stuff that they're willing to that they can offer you in your life, and how to make it so that they're deep friends with you. How can people reach you?
Well, omnivision.hunuh at outlook.com, my Facebook, YssaH Arsliv, YouTube channel, YssaH Arsatelibien, and yay, my webpage by the end of the year. So we'll be happy to add that to my following ways of you contacting me. And I will be so happy to support you again, anyhow I can. And yeah, this is a beautiful stage to move forward and come into unity and create and shape that reality that we deserve. So let's go. Let's do this.
Yeah. Thanks for coming, everyone. I'm Sean Bond, PsionicLeague, PsionicLeague.com, and you can reach me at PsionicLeague Gmail for sessions, consultation, healing, clearing, depossession at a distance, many different video products on teaching abilities. We'll both do workshops, so contact us with workshop inquiry, as well as if you want to be a part of our various trips to place of power pyramids around the planet. We're doing our next one in Mexico, various place of power pyramids and that have superpowers and healing and massive activations for people that will change their life and bring their soul family in and other stuff that is going to be powerful and help the planet tremendously. Trip and Corey, send us an email, either like PsionicLeague@gmail.com or hers. And you don't have, if you're interested in any of the type of trips, we're also planning on something in Japan, and that's coming more to fruition as we're having people interested in that contact. You're not signing up for anything entirely. Just contact us if you're interested in any type of trip, because we're also doing workshops to teach you how to be a greater superpowered multidimensional self in them. And just like sending us an email, we'll add you to the list of people that are interested, and so that we'll be able to contact you whenever we're doing an event. And you can decide on that, and we can tell you more of the information, and we'll be coming out with more of like the places that we'll be going to, so you can feel like, oh yeah, I need to go there if this place is calling you, you've been there in past lives or whatever. And let us know also for the Japanese trip, Mexico trip. And what else we got?
The conference in Sedona, March 29 and 28, with a full week of workshops, and we will be there, and we will be very happy to share with you. It will be a very expansive week, and the Rise of the Guardian. So get your tickets, and as well for the Florida Full Disclosure Now conference in July. Also a very powerful and expansive event. And yeah, we'd love to see you there and to meet you and to share and talk and do many things for the human evolution, as well as in the trips and in the courses sessions. So yeah, looking forward to connect with you.
Yeah, come join us. Let's be friends. Let's meet up, and then we can trade and stuff. And also with the trips, if you're living in an interesting spot or you want to go somewhere interesting, you can also send us that in a trip inquiry. Like, oh, if you guys go to Tibet, count me in. Or like Spider Bright said, Australia. If you live in a place and you're wanting to meet up with us, this might be your excuse. Like, we do want to travel all around the world, so we do want to go to Australia. So we'll definitely want to do spots and places. So if you have a base down on the ground, let us know. Contact us about that, and then we'll add you to the list having to do with that and make you a part of it. And then it all comes together easier, and we can all work together to make this grid come alive on the planet of places of power that change the future. It is dramatic. I've seen some big shifts in the timeline after activating a place of power. Woof. Oh, love it.
Yeah, we were just talking about one.
So make a big difference to this planet. You get a lot of brownie points and rewards and heaven realm access. So
yes, well, thank you everyone for your beautiful comments and sharing. And yes, we want to go to all those places. So let's do what it is required to do that. And thank you. Thank you.
I'm seeing people interested in that. Yeah, contact us. Email, trip inquiry at the top, and then you go into your pitch to us if you want to be a part of it, or if you're already in a place, like, come here, and then we can work with you more, get the boots on the ground and get things rolling with that.
Yeah, telepathy is not enough for this. We need something physical, a letter or a message or something. So thank you. Until next time.
Thank you all. Have
Thank
a
you.
wonderful day, and Merry Christmas if we don't see you in the next
Yeah,
few days.
right.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Saturnalia.
Whatever,
All the
yeah.
the things that
Yeah.
happen. And yeah, hope you have a wonderful shakeup in this crazy new year that's around the bend with drones and UFOs and all kinds of cool stuff that's going to be happening. See you guys later. Bye.
Bye.